What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the It's Just Work podcast, hosted by yours truly, Chuck Clemens, and my brother Steven Herlihy. We are back with another college basketball week two of our predictions for the week. Last week, how'd you do, Steve? What was your record?
3-3, so
Three,
definitely areas for improvement.
500. That's solid. First week. It's okay.
Yeah,
Solid.
not bad.
For me, 4-2. I thought I did pretty well. Got the UNC win over Kansas. Arkansas, they kind of sold me a little bit. But, we're back for week two. Got another great week of great games all the way through. Let's get right into it. Let's start off with UConn versus BYU. They play Saturday in Boston. Homecoming game for AJ DeBansta. Kind of a home game for UConn because they travel deep. Who you got? And give a quick recap of why you have them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with UConn in this one. Getting a little healthier. Not really sold on BYU's defense, and if that's a question versus UConn, that's a huge issue. I also think on the interior, BYU's a little weak, and Terrace Reed and Ryby is no small task, so I'll go with UConn.
Yeah. I'm also going with UConn, kind of similar reasons. BYU's defense isn't right there. You got UConn who runs these just crazy sets. They looked really good in these first couple games. Obviously not great opponents. They looked pretty sharp for early on. Overall, I think talent-wise, I think UConn beats them there. I think it's kind of similar, like just around the board. But I do think that UConn will pull out this win just based off, a little more experience. Um, I think Hurley's a great coach, so I'm also gonna go with UConn. They travel deep. TD Garner's gonna be jumping. But yeah, I'll go both on UConn there. Started off. It's a good sign. Then we have another great game on Tuesday. Uh, 9 versus 11. We have Kentucky versus Louisville. Rivalry game. Though both these teams are really good right now, it's gonna be just a great game. They're playing at Louisville. What's your outlook on that game?
Yeah, so I think obviously it's a huge game for Louisville, hosting Kentucky and whatnot, so they're going to be amped up, but I just think here Kentucky's a physical, more defensive minded team. And I think Louisville is they've tended, especially Pat Kelsey teams, tended to struggle against those teams. So I'll go with Kentucky here.
All right, we're going two for two. I think Kentucky, they're also getting a little more healthier as well. I
Is
think
Jalen Lowe coming back? Do you know?
I don't know if he's back yet, but they just got this freshman back. I think the second game who did pretty well.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think it's kind of similar. I think just a little bit more deep. Louisville's great offensively. They got shooters. They got Mikaela Brown who's very dynamic. Conwell is very dynamic. But I think defensively, Kentucky's gonna make it tough for them. And then they have multiple guys they can put on these guys. Think of like Aberdeen, Otega Owe. There's very physical guys that they can give Mikaela Brown some struggles. And I just think that there's a little bit more deep than Louisville. I think it'd be a great game. I think it'd be a close game. But I do have Kentucky on this one as well. So we're both two for two on the same teams.
Huge game for Mikael Brown as well. Just obviously Oweh, Aberdeen on him. You know,
Yeah.
those are NBA level
Hmm.
defenders in my opinion.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah. We'll see what it does. We got Texas Tech versus Illinois. Tuesday at Illinois. Two top 20 teams. Obviously, you're huge on Illinois. Texas Tech, they're looking to be the Final Four team this year. Be a great game. Who do you got? Who do you have in that one?
I think here I'm going to go Illinois. Texas Tech is actually a little banged up still, if I believe it or
Mhm.
not. They have a few guys that are still out. I know Toppin came back, but I'm going Illinois here at home. I think they're flying a little under the radar. And yeah, I think I'm going to go with them here.
Well, I guess another week. I mean, it's probably great that we have this podcast together. We're like-minded people. So,
Yeah.
I'm also going to Illinois just based on what you kind of were telling me in terms of their outlook as a team. Got some pro guys, older, experienced players at home versus Texas Tech team who's also, they're good as well. But when it comes to the factor of like, they're banged up a little bit, they have to come into Illinois. I think it'll be a little bit tough for them. So. I'm gonna go Illinois as well on this one. Thursday we have another huge game. We have 1 versus 15 right now at least. Purdue versus Alabama. It's at Alabama. Bama beat them last year that we were just talking about. Or who won last year?
It was Purdue one at home versus
Purdue
Bama.
went at
Yep.
home last year. Sorry, um,
Yep.
but now Bama has a chance to get it back this year at home on Thursday. Who you got in this game?
Yeah, so Purdue, honestly, if you've watched a few of their exhibitions, for example, when they played Kentucky in their first few games, they've been a little shaky. It was close versus Oakland.
Yeah,
Alabama's flying a little under the radar. They lost last year. I just think Purdue, the athleticism's going to show here a little bit, and I think the
yeah,
better guards are on Alabama.
yeah,
And I just think Alabama's going to be ready to go. They might be getting a player back as well who didn't play their first two games. We'll see how that goes. But even if he doesn't, I think they're getting healthier. I think they're going to win this one,
yeah. This is going to be a tale of who can control the pace of the game.
100%.
Obviously, Bama, they want straight guard play, get up and down, get to the rim, put pressure on the defense. Purdue, they can play fast, but, I feel like versus Alabama, they're probably going to want to get the ball inside, play a little bit slower. I think, the backcourt of Purdue is really, really good. One of the best in the country. Same with Bama. I think Bama has the best backcourt. Front court wise, I think Purdue kind of, wipes them out the way. Um, so if Purdue can come in there and control the pace of the game, obviously they have some tough games so far. Bama coming off a great win. I think I'm gonna go Purdue this one. I think I'm gonna go Purdue this one. If I think Brandon Smith has that ability to control the game, we see him doing it multiple times. It will come down to them defensively, how they're gonna be able to guard these guards. And if these two guards kind of get off, it'll be super tough for them. But if they can kind of contain them a little bit, force them to take tough shots throughout the whole game. Hopefully they just miss. Uh, I'm just gonna go with Purdue, just based off the front court, you know, liability on Alabama's end.
One thing concerning for Alabama, too, is they fouled St. John's a ton on defense, and they got away
Hmm.
with it. St. John's didn't shoot free throws that great. It wasn't
Hmm.
terrible, but not that great. Purdue's going to hit their free throws. So if you're just going to, be in bad spots, foul, get them in the bonus, there you're slowing down the pace, playing in the Purdue's game. So they can't foul. They
Yeah,
cannot foul.
yeah. So that's gonna be an interesting game. It's really a tale of two ends on two ends
Yeah,
of
it's
basketball.
all
So
about pace. I agree.
yeah, let's move on to Gonzaga versus Creighton. These are two teams that I haven't really got to see play. You said you saw a little bit of Gonzaga this past weekend. They played Tuesday at Gonzaga, 21 versus 23. Who do you got in this one? You think?
Yeah, I think so. I also got to see a brief few minutes of Creighton's opening game, and I think most people associate Creighton in the past, right, with Kalkbrenner having that rim protection defense, but they're going from a severe downgrade to Owen Freeman in terms of rim protection and defense. And Gonzaga's front court is no joke. They eat Graham Ike, Braden Huff. I mean, those guys are great players, and I just think that's going to decide the game here. I'll go with Gonzaga. I just think they have eight or nine guys who are solid, where I think Creighton's still a lot of new pieces kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, I think. Honestly, I just think Gonzaga's a better team. Just in
Hmm.
general, kind of like you just said just then, going into Gonzaga, that place gets rowdy. I don't know what goes on in Spokane. Like they just go crazy out there.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I think it comes out another front court um, liability on Creighton's end. Is Grant Foster playing?
Yes, he is. Yep.
So he's another guy that he just brings a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
weird dynamic on the
Yeah.
wing. So yeah, I think this is probably one of the easier picks for me. I think Gonzaga's gonna take this one
Yeah.
out. And honestly, I could see it being a convincing fashion where they kind of just steamroll. Like Creighton's obviously a ranked team; they're pretty solid, but like you said, it's a whole kind of new team. I think it's gonna be a little bit tough to come into.
I think defensively, there's a lot of questions with
Hmm.
Creighton. I think this could be like a bad defense this year, but maybe I'm wrong. But I just they don't have the same players.
Yeah, yeah. So all right, we're what is that? 4 for 5 on
Yeah,
the same. It's kind of
yeah,
how we went last year. So I mean
I
last week.
know.
So we got one more game. Obviously, there are other great games throughout the whole week, but we picked these six. We have Arizona versus UCLA in the Clippers Stadium, so it's in
Yes, yep, yeah,
12 versus 13. Obviously, Arizona's come. They'll probably move up this week. Got a great win versus Florida this past week. UCLA, um, looking to be one of the better teams in the country. They're a team that I'm not as high on starting out, but what are your takes on that?
yeah. I think this is a team. Obviously, Arizona I'm very high on. I think UCLA. A lot of people look at their what they brought back from the NCAA tournament team last year and adding Donovan Dent. but I just don't. I think Arizona just has a lot more talent 1 through 8.
Hmm.
And I get that UCLA is a solid team, but I believe last year UCLA actually beat Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, in this
Yeah.
game. And I'll go with Arizona here. I think they're playing good ball. They're dialed in, and I'll go with them here. I just
Yeah.
think they're a better team.
This is gonna be a tougher one for me. Seeing as though I like Arizona a lot, I'm not as high on UCLA. But you see teams that come off of big games and kind of not do as great the next game. So that's something I'm definitely
Absolutely.
taking into account in. It's played in LA, so obviously UCLA is gonna be the home team. Ah man, it's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to be a tough one. They're 12 and 13. Uh, I think I'm gonna go with UCLA. I think I'm gonna go with UCLA this game, just based on the fact that kind of what I said before. Arizona's come off a really great week. I think depending on who they put on Kobe Pete, let's say they put like an Eric Daly on him, who is probably like 6'7". He's strong, experienced, older player, kind of knows like the ins and outs of game defensively. Donovan Dent's just super dynamic guard. Him and Sky Clark can kind of bring that towards Jaden Bradley. They can go at it. So they have that offensive power as well. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna go with UCLA. I think that dynamic backcourt can cause some problems for Arizona. I think they can make it a little bit harder than what Florida did in terms of Kobe Pete, in terms of just different actions on him, like have a smaller player on him, bring some speed, quickness, switch it up, put a bigger player on him. So, um,
It's going to be much more, at least offensively for Arizona, much more half court. Like UCLA is going to want to slow it down, be
mhm,
physical. Not that Florida wasn't physical, but I think that Cope, he was obviously the aggressor there. He was kind of, but UCLA is a great defense traditionally, and they have some good defenders. So I agree with you there.
yeah. So out of all these teams, let's pick a team that we are excited to look at and why. Like, what's one team out of these teams that we just highlighted that you are excited to watch and see what they can
I
do.
Yeah, I would say Illinois. I just again, they're a team I'm higher on than probably consensus, and Texas Tech's really good.
Hmm.
They're a solid team, even if they're a little banged up. They're a solid team. I'm interested to just see how all the pieces gel. A lot of talent. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think for me it's probably UConn. I haven't got to watch them really actually play this year, but they've kind of been dominating this past week. Being teams 70-25 at halftime is crazy. So obviously I'm a big Hurley guy. But I want to see how this team kind of go against a great team in BYU and see how they kind of match up. And then also I want to see let's go with Gonzaga. I haven't really got to see them too much. They have Grant Foster now just got eligible to play. So I have a great. Actually, when Brandon Hubb was a freshman, I think he's a junior now. So I guess it was like a couple years ago. I
Hmm.
was super high on him. I was like, okay, this guy, he's got some stuff with him.
He
So
had like a crazy shooting game against like a top team. I
yeah,
forgot who it was, but yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
I like him a lot. And then obviously EK just
he's a beast.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like he's been in college for like 20 years, but he's he's
yeah,
he's at his thing. So, um, yeah, they're definitely a team. I want to see how they kind of match up versus Creighton. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a great week of hoops.
Another just quick game that I think we'd both be on the same side. We'd have to go over, but Houston plays Auburn on Sunday. I
Yes,
think we'd
yes,
both
yes.
be in agreement that Houston probably wins that one. But interested to see Auburn. Okay, first real test probably of the season. How are they gonna look versus a top, a top team.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it'd be a great week. We can actually add that to it. Houston, Auburn. So I have Houston.
sure.
You have
I
Houston.
have Houston as well.
You know where
Yeah,
they're
I do.
playing?
Do you
Is it
know where they're? I think it's a neutral court game.
okay? Okay.
But I just think Houston. I just think Auburn is their work in progress right now. Maybe Houston is as well, but I think Houston just the talent. I just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, these were our picks for the week. I'm not the best better ever. I'm actually I don't not good at all. So if you want to take my picks as a bet, go ahead. We're gonna be tracking our wins for this week. But yeah, let's go. Let's see how we do, man. So
Yeah, excited. A lot of good games.
All right, well, appreciate you guys. We appreciate the support so far, whether it's a video like this or just in general on a YouTube page. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do all of the above. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.